And we're back with the Black Side of. We're doing movies this month. It's Halloween month, so what we're doing? Halloween. That's right. I have my girl Sasha with me. How you doing, Sasha?
I'm good. I'm good as usual.
All right. So last episode we got into the timeline of Halloween. We started. Well, we kind of skipped 78 because we were going to talk about that today, but we, talked about what happened in the different timelines and how they all don't match their goes this way, that way, and then this away, then that away. But this one we're gonna stay focused. We're gonna actually talk about Halloween '78. Watched it.
hmm
Um, it kind of starts out weird because even though Scream rules didn't apply back then, Scream rules kind of applied to this movie
Okay.
to me. Because what are Scream rules for everybody don't know? Do you know, Sasha? I don't know.
I mean, I feel like I do, but why? I think you're better at it, so you
Okay,
tell it.
so Scream rules is don't have sex. Number one,
Yes.
don't do drugs. Number two,
Yes.
and never ever say I'll be right back. Number three.
Yes. That is so much better um than me doing it because I'm gonna do it just like he did it, and I'm terrible at it. So that was good.
So we start out with the movie where we see Michael's sister just getting
She's not,
smashed.
but she's not though. She
Do
could have
we?
said no. She could have stopped it.
Dude looked like he was pulling up his pants on the way out. Like, yeah, I'll call you later,
I
Judith.
mean, but what's terrible is yeah. We don't know. It could have been, I don't know. This was the 60s. Were they doing
Mhm.
what I think they were doing then?
I
Cuz
think
they
that
could have
they
only
getting
did
free love. I
they could
think that
have
was
they could have did half of it,
yeah,
not the whole.
not the
He didn't
whole,
get the whole enchilada.
maybe, but it's still sex at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Rule one broken.
That makes
so,
sense. Yeah. We'll go
so
with that.
Michael, goes to the kitchen, like gets a knife, puts on a
Mhm.
little clown mask, goes
Yeah.
upstairs. Oh, Michael, ah!
Yeah.
And she was nude at the if you see through the point of view eyes, she was
I
nude.
mean, all right.
Yeah,
I'm still having faith that she did everything but.
Judah got her cheeks clapped.
Okay, fine. I tried. I tried to save you,
Nah,
Judy. I tried to save you, Judy. I think Judy was her name.
Judith Myers.
Judith. I called her Judy.
Yeah, Judith, same thing.
Yeah.
So of course, the parents are looking like, what just happened here? Like,
That's a lot more blood we expected.
right. But it was just the fact that the parents were like, Michael, that's why I like kind of Rob Zombie's version of this because his mom was slapping him. Wait, Michael, what'd you do? What'd you do?
Yeah.
Not just,
Yeah.
oh my God, Michael. Oh, Michael, what you
They
did? Oh, oh,
That's
Michael.
because that kind of stuff was not shown on film unless it was like Flowers in the Attic, which came much later.
Much
Or
later,
Mommy Dearest, much
right?
later.
Well, they had Rose. Well, kind of. Nah, we can't even say Rosemary's Baby because even she
Yep.
was kind
Nope.
of subdued,
Mhm.
learning that. Well, spoiler alert that she was having a devil's baby. So,
Yeah, if you don't know about Rosemary's Baby by now, you
oh
might
yeah,
as well just stop watching
that
any movie.
that's required if you're a horror fan. Watch Rosemary's Baby. You will not be disappointed,
Yeah.
even all these years later. But let's time jump to 15 years later, 1978, where Dr. Loomis he's like, "Yo, drug this dude and lock him away. Bam.
Yes.
Don't ever let this guy out."
No, he does not need
And
yard
Nurse
time at
Marion
all.
like, well, he won't be able to function. Like that's the point. This dude's crazy.
Plot twist, he's not functioning at all, man.
Right.
Like, let's go.
Let's
So yeah.
keep this this going. So we see that something's wrong. Um, he has Marion stop the car, and all of a sudden Michael hijacks the car from Marion, like tries to choke her out and steals the car.
Mhm.
First impression was like, This dude's been locked up since he was 6 years
Right!
old.
I have that problem. Where did he learn how to drive? So
Who
well.
taught him how to drive?
So
But if
well.
but Dr. Loomis, he asked that same question when he was talking to the other doctor, like, yo, y'all supposed to lock this dude up. Well, Dr. Loomis, if you would have told us how dangerous he was.
No, no.
No,
We're not gonna
no.
skip over the fact that he can drive. Who taught
Right.
him how to drive?
Who taught him how to drive? Like, yeah,
Yes.
we need to answer these questions. Like, somebody getting fired.
How, Sway? How?
Right. Right. How, Sway? How?
Yep.
So then we moved to Tommy and Lori walking down the street, la la la. That's my babysitter, blah blah blah. And
Mhm.
this dude just starts stalking Lori. Like, please, this is probably a good time to put a PSA out there. Please don't stalk anyone. It's not nice. It's not decent. It never ends
Yeah.
bad. It's going to end badly for one of you two. So if you feel the need to stalk someone that you're mildly attracted to, don't do it. Just talk
Yeah,
to
please don't.
them.
Please
And
don't.
if they reject you, just keep it moving. But
Yeah,
especially if they're school age, like Lori was, like for you to be pulling up in a station wagon, passing
listen.
by the school.
Listen. Keep the L that you were given, homie. Like, it's not even worth it. Like, just don't. Just say no to stalking.
Right.
Just say no.
Yeah.
Just say no.
And you would think with this big old logo of this hospital on the side of the car, this would have been a very easily identifiable car. Like, hey, this
No.
guy is following these teenage girls home. He's driving his car with this big old hospital logo on it. Somebody might want to check this out.
Mm.
We see Michael behind the bushes, and then he disappears, and playing peekaboo. Seeing it in front of happen to be in the right classroom, looking at the Lori's soul from the
Yeah.
street.
Which is an overused trope, by the way, in all of these movies, but go on.
Yeah, so and then meanwhile, Loomis is trying to ring the bell, like, hey, this dude's dangerous. Somebody do something. Oh, we
Yeah.
don't know what you're talking about, Dr. Loomis. You don't have no proof that he's coming to Haddonfield. It's 150 miles away. Well, somebody taught his ass how to drive, and you need to
That's
stop that.
exactly what Loomis said. That's exactly what Loomis said, dude. Mhm.
He's coming back to Haddonfield, and he's gonna terrorize this whole town if we don't do something now. And
Right. Right.
he's like,
Yeah.
it's on Halloween. And like, exactly. That's when he deleted his sister on Halloween. He's coming
Right.
back.
Yeah, he's reliving the highlights reels of life at that
Right.
point. Mhm.
Yeah, shut this town down. Let's get this dude locked away. Let's get him the help he needs. So, of course, Lori, they show her again walking with her cannon fodder friends, and like we know what's gonna happen after this. So Dr. Loomis, he goes to the cemetery. He wants to see the gravestone of Judith Myers, just to see, see if he's been there. And of course, the headstone is gone. Like, oh,
Yeah.
these kids. Now, this brought up the first question I had. Well, the second question. First, how did
Who
Michael
taught him
Myers
how to drive? The
how to
second
drive?
one?
Second one, who helped him lift
What
this
is
heavy gravestone back to the house? and,
Yes,
and
because
how
a
come no one
gravestone.
saw him? These gravestones has got to be a good 300-400 pounds.
Yes.
The one that she had couldn't have been light at all.
Mm-mm. No.
And the,
Absolutely not.
and
So
the
my
fact that
thing
it was
is
like he just
this,
ripped it out. He didn't dig it out. He just ripped it out of the ground.
and
Because
that's the thing.
yeah,
Mhm.
if you look at it, it's like it's just a
Yes.
perfect rectangle, like a gravestone belongs.
Like he did this.
Yeah, it's like Tetris. Like a
Yeah.
gravestone should fit right in that hole.
Right.
Like, okay,
Mhm.
how is he learning how to drive, and how is he this strong? Like,
I wanna know what them weights were on the yard. Imma be
right,
honest with you, cause man, Mikey can do some things. He can
yeah,
do some things, seriously.
like,
Um, I think what it was for me, what gets me is that A, he had no help. He didn't have any help with that gravestone
right,
or the driving. And how did
and
he know where Haddonfield was? That's my looming question. Could he read a map? Who taught him? Like
Right. Who
he
taught him how
was
to read a
there's
map?
so many moving parts to this that doesn't make sense. And you can suspend belief and then again preying on the idiocy of the viewer.
Right.
So yeah.
I mean, and remember, they didn't have MapQuest. They didn't have Waze.
No. They
You
had the
had to
old
read
school
a
paper
paper
map.
map. Yes.
So he had to learn what is it, longitude, latitude, and the little key at the bottom. I think I
Hmm.
learned how to read a map in second grade. I still don't know. Waze is where it's at. Waves
Right.
will have you driving through somebody's living room just as long as you get to your destination.
As
This
you get
guy
there, yeah.
had an unfolded map that you get from the gas station back then,
Uh-huh.
and the little thing that says 1 inch equals a kilometer that
And
nobody
pneumatic
used.
and got back to Haddonfield some kind of way.
Yes, he got there. He made it his mission. It's like a
Yeah.
homing device.
So
Annie,
and
are you
PSA,
okay?
no,
Annie, are you okay?
Annie was not okay. Annie, are you okay?
No. Too
So
late for
first,
Annie.
first Annie's dog gets it. Like, oh,
Yeah.
like
I'm not even an animal rights activist. Like I love fried chicken, but the
no,
dog, dude.
and then she was like, "Oh, well, maybe you caught a girlfriend." No, your dog just starts bark. If my dog starts barking all of a sudden, I'm checking it out because he's either
Yes.
pooping or peeing
Yes.
somewhere in the house. I need to know what
Yes.
you're up to, dude.
As a person who has a pet, anybody that has a pet knows the difference between a girlfriend
Mhm.
and alert, if you will.
Right.
So
They're
yeah.
trying to let you know somebody here that ain't supposed to be here, Annie.
Right.
So
Nobody's supposed to be here, dude. Come check this out.
right. So we see Annie get deleted in the car, Annie Bracken. And the only
Mm,
reason why I remember her name because the Brackens are very integral in this
yes.
Halloween timeline.
Yes. Absolutely.
So yeah, he gives her a close shave right about there.
Ear to
So
ear, man.
yeah,
Ear to
so
ear.
poor Annie.
She didn't
And
have to go see my wax lady Holly with the getting the chin part removed.
they do that. Ouch. I feel like
They
that hurt.
do. They do.
Oh
So
Lord.
yeah.
Hey, it costs for beauty, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but my thing is, why didn't they hear? No one heard her honking the horn as Michael was like,
No, it's
remember she's like
1978.
she's pressing the horn and
Nah, it's
then Mike,
1978 on Halloween.
yeah, I guess,
Everybody was honking horns and being loud and rambunctious.
yeah, I guess,
And if you watch all the movies at the time when the kids were like at the what is it, the peak or the lover's lane, you always heard a horn for a second
yeah,
because
that's
somebody
true.
kicked it.
Yeah,
So it's like,
that's true.
oh, that's normal.
But she was actually going to go get her boyfriend Paul.
See, so
So,
the moral of the story is don't even think about it.
well, I thought men were more chivalrous back then. Wasn't Paul supposed to pick up Annie?
I'm sorry, 1978?
Yeah,
No. Mm-mm.
yeah.
No.
What do women talk about nowadays? Oh, he got to have a car. He can't be no scrub. Paul
I
was a scrub.
mean, well, they were fighting bankruptcy, so I don't know what the never mind.
So
Sorry, internet memes, but he could
right,
have had a car or she had one. She was going to get hers cuz
yeah,
she was a woman of her ahead of her time.
yeah, she was
She
gonna
was
go.
going to get her call,
Yeah,
her can I
like you
say
said,
that? She was going to get her booty call. She was going to
yeah,
go get it.
she wanted something to
She
ride on. She just rode on the wrong thing. But
Oh no, poor Annie.
so we back at Loomis trying to convince the police, that Michael is in Haddonfield
I
deleting people with
I
no
love that
proof,
part. I love
no.
it. I love
He's
it.
like, well, well, if this is true, Loomis, damn you to hell.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
he Well, here's the thing about the Loomis character. The Loomis character should be a name for movie tropes because it happens so often where the person who knows the most knowledge is ignored.
Yeah, that's true.
So it should be that they need to flip that and call it the Loomis character or
Yeah,
something because he knew the most. It
yeah.
wasn't his fault
Mm-mm.
and he get blamed for it. It's the worst. It's the worst storm of everything, kill the messenger.
Yeah,
Literally.
I definitely killed the messenger on this one.
Yeah.
So now we have our next set of cannon fodder, Linda and Bob, which
Linda and Bob.
so one, they go into Annie's home just so they can get it on. Two, if you listen to Bob, he's like, so I go in, you rip my shirt off, and I rip your shirt off. She's like, hold on, partner, this an expensive blouse. You ain't ripping shit.
Yeah, yeah.
But did it give you like orgy vibes? Like, okay, they go in there talking about like that, and then they wait
You
for
know
Annie to
what?
fall to get back so they can
I
all kind of
so I didn't get orgy vibes, but I did get like third wheel if Annie didn't get her
right.
if Annie didn't get her guy, it would have been third wheel and Annie would have been listening at the door like, well, since I'm not getting anything, let me listen to everybody else, you know?
Nah, I wouldn't have been listening like, hey Annie, you wanna join us? Come on in.
1978, I guess so. You would have been like brown chicken, wow,
Yeah.
wow. It would
I,
have
I
happened.
mean, I think that was like the end of the free love movement. AIDS hadn't hit yet. So, I'm sure that
1978, yeah. So you're right. Everybody could have did anything with anyone.
yeah,
First of all, when Linda was like, "This is an expensive shirt," I was like, "Linda, that sounds really close to I just got my hair done. Don't mess up my hair." So I was like,
facts.
Linda might be mixed. Linda might be mixed. And then on the other end of the spectrum, again, with her being so gifted, that makes sense.
Right.
Um,
Okay, for one, they're disrespectful. They deserved it anyway. They deserved to
yeah,
get
because they
beat.
broke rule number one.
Well, not only that, but whose bed was they in?
Oh,
You don't be screwing on nobody's bed.
accidents happen,
And
and
they weren't trying to change no sheets. They were just like,
listen, accidents happen, man.
that wasn't no accident. That was,
Accidents happen. It's
you
like
know.
the first bed that was there. It just sucks.
I mean, was it Annie's bed? Was it her parents' bed, which makes it that much worse? Like,
I think it might have been Annie's bed because the parental beds back in the day were the big four wooden.
oh yeah, that's true.
So like I think it might have been Annie's bed, which sucks because if Annie would have came back with her dude, where was
that's
she
why.
gonna go?
That's why I said it was. It sounded like it was going to
Uh,
be there's going to be some tag team off the rope.
no, 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 no. It was the couch. It had to be the couch. No,
So yeah, so Bob goes downstairs to get get Linda a beer, and he gets
because that's what you need afterwards.
yeah. I don't think I've had Gatorade. I'm thinking maybe a smoke, but not a beer afterwards. Like
I mean, it's ice cold. You might need one afterwards.
yeah, I don't know about that one. But he gets nailed to the wall literally. So
Literally. I was
well,
like,
but that makes sense if he could carry a tombstone back to a
right.
house. Like, of course he's gonna be able to pick up this guy. And I mean, Bob wasn't a small dude either. It was like
He
he
weighed as
had
much
some
as the
size on him.
tombstone.
Was that?
He weighed as much as the tombstone. The
He probably
tombstone.
did. He probably
Yeah.
did. But the fact that he lifted him up in the air and pinned him to the wall, like,
One
dude,
handed, I think.
right? Like, oh my
Hmm.
god. So then he goes upstairs and puts on the sheet, acting like Bob, and for one, okay, I understand Bob was a big guy too, so he didn't realize that wasn't Bob behind the sheet.
Nah. Because apparently Linda was ready for round two.
Yeah, she was ready, and then
So,
she calling Lori, and I'm sorry, I laughed at this part when Mike was choking out with the telephone cord, and
yeah.
Lori was on the phone like, "Hey, Linda, what's up?" Uh, uh.
So, I watched this movie with my nephew.
Okay, so he's not a kid or anything.
He's not a kid, but he was like, why? What is she being choked with? I said, the phone. He said, with a cord? I was like, oh no. Oh no.
Oh no!
Oh no.
You got
I
a
have to
Gen Zer
explain
in
to
the
you
house.
that phones had cords and they were always in the kitchen.
Yep.
Like, I have to explain that to you.
Or like in my house, we had we had like 100-foot telephone cord so we
Yes.
could move it around the house
Yes.
so we could still use a phone before we got a cordless phone.
Yes.
So yeah, that's
Yes.
funny.
And he was
Like
like, the phone? She can just unplug the charger.
No,
No,
that's not how that worked back
it's not how
then.
that works. So yeah.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
So she gets, strangled or whatever.
Hmm.
So Lori does what every good white person does in all these movies. She
She's
goes
a good neighbor,
she,
like a good neighbor.
like a good neighbor. She goes across the street and see if State Farm is there. No.
Exactly. Hmm.
So she goes across the street, not calling the cops to do a welfare check, but she goes to investigate. Linda, Eddie, Bob, anybody, Paul, who's here? So she finds out who's there very quickly. So
Very quickly.
after she finds all their remains
Hmm.
around the room,
Yeah.
see, they ended up
Strewn
doing an
about.
orgy, just not just a deceased orgy of sorts. I don't know. Is
Duh.
that
I
no?
think you want that.
I don't know. I mean, it's the 70s. It is what it is.
Ugh.
So Lori survives one attack. She falls down the stairs. And and this one kind of made me laugh too. The first house she goes to, help, help, help! He's trying to kill me. They turn on the porch light. They open the blinds. They see it's her all bleeding and stuff. They close the blinds and turn off the lights and go to bed.
Because it's Halloween. It's Halloween.
It's Halloween,
And
but
that's the
still,
smartest person in that movie.
yeah, because I've always been told as a kid, don't yell for help, yell fire.
Yeah.
So yeah, unfortunately, Lori didn't get that lesson, and she runs
Mm-mm.
across the street. Tommy ends up opening the door for her, and she makes the kids hide. She stabs him with a knitting pin.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
did your grandmother knit? Because I remember how sharp these things were.
I'm
Like,
gonna go with my grandmother sewed.
uh-huh.
So I would have been tore out the frame because they
Well,
sew. So a little
sewing,
bitty needle ain't gonna do nothing.
nah, that's not gonna be anything. But I remember my grandmother knitted, and she would knit crochet, and she had these big old big pins, and
Hmm.
I remember one of the ends was really sharp, and I'm like, wow, like she's like,
Oof.
yeah, that'll cut you. I'm like, okay, like it was like a little hook at the end of it, so I could see how might catching one to the neck
Oof.
with that would slow him down a little bit, like.
Just a
But
little.
but do you remember him ever bleeding?
No, no. Wait.
Not in
Oh,
this movie.
yeah, no. He
So
should have bled
Lori
though
so
profusely.
Lori moves the kids upstairs. They all hide, which is messed up because the kids are in one room. Lori goes into another room, tries to fake Michael out like she jumped over the balcony to go get help, but she's hiding in the closet with the closet tied up. What if he didn't go in that room and went in the room with the kids? The kids have been deleted.
Dude,
What kind of
first of
babysitter is
all,
she?
the
Lori's a horrible
disrespect,
babysitter.
the disrespect of separating from children. That's my
Right.
thing. And then why did you go upstairs when you could have went out the front door?
Just could have went out.
I have so many issues with that.
Could have just went out the front, and all have been resolved for the most part.
Right. End of
Because
the
Loomis
movie.
was out there. He was out there
Right.
scaring other kids to get away from the Myers house.
Hmm.
So yeah, they could have just went out the front door, but of course, suspend disbelief, I guess.
You're
Michael goes
asking a lot
into
from me, Carpenter.
the right. So he goes in there, finds her in a closet. She pokes him in the eye and with the wire hanger and stabs him in the chest with his own knife.
Hmm.
So the kids she goes and finally goes to the kids who could have been deleted at this point. They can go right now. Loomis follows behind them into the house. And this is where you see Michael Myers' face. Now, if we didn't discuss this earlier, I don't think we did. The mask that Michael Myers wears is a mask of William Shatner.
Yes.
If
From
you,
Star Trek,
it's from Star Trek. Yep. Do you know the story
turned
of that?
inside out.
Well, they kind of painted it first and opened the
They turned
eye
it
hole.
inside out and
Yeah,
they painted it. So yeah,
yeah. Well, did they turn it inside out?
I
Because I
think it's
think
turned inside out.
that's his hair. That's William Shatner's hair on there on top still, right?
But when I feel I read that they turned it inside out because when they turned it right side up, the the skin and his actual features
Right.
is prevalent in the mask.
Uh,
That's what they said. That's what I
right.
read.
Now I know that they took William Shatner's mask and I thought they just opened up the eye holes and just painted it white,
Mm,
and that was the Shape's mask. It's
okay.
not. He's not Michael Myers. He's the Shape, by the way. That's how they refer to him in the credits. So, but we
Okay.
all know who we're talking about. But
Yeah.
just an interesting little tidbit. So, yeah, we see his face for like a fraction of a second.
Hmm.
Loomis starts emptying his piece on him, and he flips over the balcony and he's on the ground.
Yeah, you gotta unload the clip.
Yeah, everything you got at that point. Eliminate the threat. That's what I've always
Hmm.
been told as a gun owner.
Yep.
Well, not eliminate the threat, stop the threat.
I
Not
like
eliminate the
eliminate
threat.
2 to the body, 1 to the face.
No,
Zombie land rules.
right. Pretty much.
Yep. Double tap.
So, Loomis looks over the balcony. You don't see a body. Like, oh, Lord, have mercy. And Lori's like, who was that? Was that the boogeyman? And Loomis like, yep, that was the boogeyman. And roll credits.
That's it. Do 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 do.
So yeah, like we were saying before, some interesting tidbits on this. The Shape, the mask, yeah, was William
Hmm.
Shatner's. I need to look that up if it was turned inside out because because William Shatner does have the distinctive features about his face, so
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
that was a thing on there. And so, guess what this movie had the audacity to do?
What else?
Make money, a whole lot of
Yes.
money
A
off,
whole lot of money.
off a $300,000 budget. Around that, they made over $60 million.
Makes sense.
And it was all independent. So yeah, John Carpenter and Deborah Hill. I'm sorry, no disrespect, Deborah.
Probably
They
Gabby. She was
yeah,
young
for that
then.
amount of money, she can call whatever she wants. They made a killing,
Hmm.
and just for the fact that Donald Pleasance was only paid $20,000 to do this film, which was turned down by a couple different people. One of them being Christopher Reeve, Superman.
There's no way Superman could have carried that.
He was supposed to be Dr. Loomis, but he was like, "Nah, I'm cool on that. They ain't paying me enough."
Hmm.
Somebody else was supposed to be in the role, but he turned it down. Like, nah, 20 grand, nah, son. You gotta come
Hmm.
more than that. Now Loomis like, I'll take it.
Makes sense.
Jamie Lee Curtis was only paid 8 grand for her appearance, but
Yep.
um,
Because she wasn't
she was a no-name actress,
right.
Nope.
And I
And
think with her,
this really put her on the map though. And then she started
yeah.
doing, she was the scream queen of the 80s with Prom Night and a couple other movies before she started doing Trading Places and A Fish Called Wanda. So
Well, she wanted to break out of that. That's why when they offered her other roles outside of that, and they were horror movies, she wanted to break that. So that's why she took the hard left turn
mm-hmm.
and did Trading Places, A Fish Called Wanda, a couple of other movies that she's done at that time
Yep.
because she didn't want to be typecast,
Yep.
which was easy for her to do. It's like her default setting was horror
Mm-hmm.
because if you take into account, especially with the first Halloween, when they're doing the closet scene,
Mm-hmm.
it is shot for shot the psycho scene with her mother.
Yeah. True.
So the only thing that you don't have, you've replaced the shower with hangers.
Mm-hmm.
You have her balled up just like her mother. So she had to really step outside of that, outside of her default setting to do anything else because it was easy for her to do horror.
And just so we're clear, what was her name?
Janet Lee.
Janet Lee,
Hmm.
Jamie Lee Curtis' mother. She was the lady in the shower scene for Psycho.
Yes.
And at the time, she was a big deal. She was a big star at that time.
Yes.
And it was unheard of for a star of her caliber to
To
be
do horror.
to do
Or
horror
it
for
wasn't
one.
horror then.
Well, it wasn't classified as that, but
Yeah.
the fact that she was deleted so early in the film,
Mhm.
that was unheard of for a star of her caliber. Like
Yes.
you expected her to be from the beginning to the end, but they got rid of her in the middle, and that's what really set um, Psycho up to be the movie that it is. Because how dare you get rid of the star actress in the middle of the movie?
Right. So pure too. Like
Yeah, Well, she
Yeah.
wasn't pure. She was a thief.
Listen. You don't know her life. But like,
So yeah, and here's a nice one. The Shape was paid by a guy named Nick Castle. He was paid $25 a day and a case of beer.
makes sense. It was the 70s.
It was the 70s and they didn't have the money for it, so they had to get by with what they had to get by with.
Yeah.
So and like I said, John Carpenter, he's the one that actually crafted the original theme song, the dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun dun
Makes sense.
dun dun dun. So this was an independent film
Through and through.
through and through. Unless he sold his rights somewhere along the way, this is a never-ending check for him. Just that theme
Yeah.
song alone.
Yeah.
Because I could
From
think
the
of
song.
so many movies, other songs, rappers that done took
Yes.
that Halloween beat and some of them murdered that beat. I ain't gonna lie, but yeah, it's a never-ending check for him. That is a iconic song. It's always going to get him paid. So unless he sold his rights along the way, it happens. But Sean Cunningham, the people that made Friday 13, said they went to the movies because they wanted to make another horror movie, and they went to the movies to see what did they do on Halloween that was the formula for Friday the 13th. So this movie actually molded Friday 13th and what that became. So that was Halloween 78. What's your closing thoughts on this, Sasha?
Whew, closing thoughts. Jamie Lee Curtis's performance was great as Laurie Strode. She was believable, even though she was significantly older than the character.
Well,
in my mind, she was. I mean, but I guess everybody in the 70s aged like that. Because the sheriff was like, I'm 31. I'm like, I'm older than the sheriff and I don't look like that.
Right.
So, but in and of itself, I can see why it paved the way for horror fans. I mean, because when you have things like, oh, well, Jaws was a horror movie. Was it? Like it doesn't feel like that. This gave you the feeling of being chased, being Laurie, which was very rare at the time. For the movies that I've seen, older horror movies, I should say, it's very rare that you're in the victim's shoes. It's very rare that you're the main girl. It's very rare to see it from the point of view of her and then flip back to the point of view of the guy that's causing all the ruckus.
Right.
And that's what he did by having the eyes look through the mask, by having, him walk instead of run, having the decisions that was made in order to make this movie put together in such a way. It's the blueprint for all horror that we know.
Right.
And it should be respected. So that's my closing thoughts.
Definitely that. I couldn't say it any better. I mean, this set the tone. I mean, like you said, we had other, horror flicks in that time, but this one really set the tone. And this movie started the craze that I fell in love with of 80s horror. So we'll just end it there. Next time, we're going to talk about Halloween 2018. Then we're going to get into Halloween Kills. And for Sasha, I'm Trayvon. Thank you for watching. Have a good night.
Bye.